All right. Well, we'll start the conference now with Dr. Alvin Parker. Coach, why don't we open up with a comment, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Uh, Good win last week. I thought the guys did a good job. Going that far away and getting the in region win. Against a top level team. So I was proud. It was kind of good to see everything kind of come together, and it was just a good trip from start to finish. I thought the guys did everything well, and it was a good week of preparation leading up to that game. So they kind of just went through and did everything we asked them to do. Them guys played extremely hard, and they went down there in hostile territory and was able to come out with probably one of the biggest wins I've had since I've been here. So I'm proud of that. And we got on back and we start to focus right on the next game. So we got out of practice about maybe about an hour ago. So we've already kind of started to focus and turn our attention to Livingstone.
Coach, if I can start by asking, how have you been able to balance keeping them energized and enjoying the moment of Saturday, but also, I guess, kind of keeping them humble with what's ahead with your conference opener with Livingstone on Saturday?
It's not been a hard of a job as I thought it would be. I was kind of a concern coming out of Sunday because even from a coaching staff standpoint, we were pretty high. And we felt good about what had happened, So those guys came ready to work though. Sunday is technically a work day for us, so we jumped back on regular schedule on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, them guys got off the bus early that morning, and we jumped right back on schedule. I think that was probably the main thing, that we didn't change anything up. So in terms of not changing anything up, that means practice, meetings, anything like that was on regular schedule. And I think those guys understood it from that. They knew we were on regular schedule. They knew everything was happening the same, and they knew we had to start to progress to the next game. I give those guys a certain amount of time to enjoy the victory and things like that. But they knew that it was the next game up. So like I said, we jumped right back on the regular schedule. We had practice today, a good practice, man. I had, so them guys know what's the task at hand.
Was there a particular moment during the course of the game where you said to yourself, we got these guys, we're going to leave here with a W?
I think it was a few in that game, Sean. It was a play, that we had, that we stopped those guys on fourth down at midfield, and we got the ball back and we scored in the very next play, and I think that put us up. I think 45-27 at that point, so I felt real good that, we had kind of put it all together. We had a few things that kind of stopped us a little bit early on in the game, in terms of like a penalty here, a turnover here, some things that slowed us up a little bit. But I think those two back-to-back plays right there that happened, like I said, with us getting that fourth down stop and then the offense coming right on and punching a big score, right there was something that was huge, and it was a game changing play on both sides. So I think that was kind of the one of the big momentum swings in that game.
Steve, you got your hand up?
Yeah, just wanted to hop in. Stephen J. Get there, HBCU game day. Coach, first off, congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
Valdosta State is a football program that's, obviously they're ranked high this year, but every year they're pretty much up there. CIAA programs, the most dominant ones over the last decade, VUU, and before them WSSU, they couldn't break through and beat them, and you guys were able to do that. Talk about what it meant not only for your program, but also I think the conference as well to show that you guys can compete with the Valdosta States and getting a signature win like this, how much it just helps the quality of the league overall.
Like you stated, first, Steve, they're a program. You don't look at them like Valdosta State football team. They're the Valdosta Football State program, and I think everybody wants to earmark and say mark their programs after those. So everybody wants to develop and put their programs in the same limelight as those type of teams. But we haven't had much luck against those guys from a league standpoint. And I think that goes back a bunch of years. So with them guys being nested right in the same region as us. It's a game that you have to be able to get through to even, make yourself even a contender to play national. So a few teams have went up against those guys and tried, and nobody has succeeded. So, I was glad that we had the next shot up. We was able to kind of get through that game and do what we had to do to make sure we could bring that back, not only like you said for Virginia Union, but for the conference as a whole. So I was proud that we were able to do that.
And then follow up to that, big win. I mean, you guys expected to contend for the CIAA title and everything as well. Big win week 1. You guys weren't ranked in the AFCA poll. Obviously, it's a long season, and you guys don't get too hampered up in that. But do you think? Did you think that after slaying that dragon, you guys would maybe see your name in that list? And I'm sure that's motivation going forward as well.
Absolutely, I thought like the other side of me thinks that, okay, well, I want our guys to get the recognition. But then I think, we do so much in-house to recognize these guys, to let them know the type of performances that they're having, that it was something that, it kind of came and it kind of went, but, I think you have to do more to earn respect. I guess that's what it is. I guess that's what the key to it is. And it's the coaches poll, which means that, you would think coaches kind of know the game a little bit better than a fan would, so it was a little, but, we understand it doesn't take anything from the victory that we had, and it doesn't stop us from doing anything and reaching our goals and going forth. But you know what? You feel like when your guys do something good, you want them to get the recognition. And I wanted it for the guys more than anything, but it doesn't slow us down or stop us or even, concerns us more than what it was yesterday.
Wayne, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Coach, I want to ask you a couple more questions about Jada, if I may. Chatting with him after practice a little earlier, you mentioned, I was assigned with Sacred Heart at first coming out of high school, and then was looking at Nassau Community College, and he mentioned his all-star coach, Quan Johnson, who also played at Union, was kind of connect with you to come to Union. So how did that kind of play out from your perspective as far as, finding out about him and getting him in your program in the summer of 2020?
Well, Quan Johnson is one of my best friends. We played here together, and he's from New Jersey, and he would always call and tell me, you got to get this kid Jada Byers. You got to get this kid Jada Byers. So we recruited him out of high school, and it was during COVID, and during the year of COVID, and he ended up going to Sacred Heart, but because of COVID, he came back home. He didn't even start there, so he was able to come to us, following that year. So it was one of those type of things. I think it just kind of goes to show you that you don't never stop recruiting, I can say, because we got him during that time of COVID, and and he came right after that, so he was able to jump right in when we played in 21 last year. So, but he's a special one. You can look at the film and you can see all of those things that he does, but he brings just something else different to the team. He's a fun guy to be around. I think he's going to be a TV personality when he finishes playing, because he just brings that much energy and he's just that lively, so I don't really have to say much about him. I think he showed the world as far as what the conference probably knew and what everybody else probably knew around here, but he showed the world on Saturday night what type of football player he was.
Yeah, mentioning, showing the world, he talked about too the belief you guys, the coaching staff, had in him. I know his second game last year against Valdosta, he had 207 yards. So where did that belief as a coaching staff come in him? Was it seeing him put up 207 in his second collegiate game, or where did that come from?
It just kind of, when somebody has that thing called it, and he has it, so it was kind of, we seen it early on. He didn't start for us last year. He probably carried the ball more than anybody else, but he played in a role that, he came in and he just did everything for us. He caught the ball, he carried it. He did a lot of things for us. And I think in game, he was one of the only people last season that did, rush for a considerable amount of yards against Valdosta. So it was a game that he was looking forward to this year. So combine those 2 years together, I think, those numbers probably get real out of sight, so, and he did a great job, Saturday. And of course, everybody knows the job he did, last year, but he's making a run this year to say, everybody in the country is going to know who I am.
Mentioning he's special, what's maybe the biggest wow moment you've seen from him? Was it Saturday, or was it maybe an other moment, this past year plus?
He's done he's had some outstanding games since he's been here. He had a couple 200-yard games last year. Of course, this game and the magnitude of it, this probably was the highest total that he's had since he's been here. But he's had some runs that I've seen him make 8, 9 guys miss. He's had some runs where I've seen him run over people. He has a run where I've seen him run past people. So, I haven't really, I can't say that, it's been one, play that was just that much more spectacular than the other. I think his body of work is just spectacular right now. So, and we're glad that we have him here.
And lastly, for me, he talked a lot about, obviously he has a lot of motivation and kind of fire in him, goal of trying to make it to the NFL, seeing guys around him do it, from his area up in New Jersey. What do you think is ahead for him? Obviously, he's just a sophomore. What do you think is in his football future? What you've seen of him already?
Oh, it's tough for me to kind of speak on that because I have to make sure he's kind of good for us. But he has the talent. He has all the tools. He has the work ethic. And when it becomes his time, the people that's going to have to see him to make those type of decisions are going to see everything I've already seen. That he has all the tools to be a guy that can play on the next level. So, like I said, we're excited to have him here. I want to make sure that he plays the best next couple of years he can play. Get out of here with a degree and do all of those things like that. And I think all those NFL dreams and all that type of things will take care of itself.
Thank you.
I see Chris Ferguson has joined us. Chris, do you have any questions?
I asked most of my questions Sunday night, but looking ahead at Livingstone, how are you going to keep the guys pretty even keel going into conference play at this point, coming off of this huge win? And you may have already mentioned that, but I was just kind of curious about that.
It's league play. Those guys that have been here with us kind of know the importance of it. Some of the younger guys, are learning the importance of it. That, when it's time to go league play, nobody really cares about, what you did the week before or what you did the year before. Everybody feel like they has a shot, and rightfully so, so, and we think Livingstone has definitely a much improved team. They showed a lot of good signs early on in the season. I think Coach Gilbert is doing a great job down there, building that team the way he wants it to go. Those guys have some different things going on down there with some upgraded facilities and they're making some differences. So, we expect a big time challenge on Saturday. I'm glad we get the chance to play at home back in front of our fans and, to open up CIAA play. So we're excited.
And then, Coach, I know, when we take a lot of, we as fans and everybody outside looks at polls a lot. And one of the biggest surprises was we kind of saw that Virginia Union was still outside of the top 25 poll. And I just kind of would like to get your thoughts about that.
This probably was the first time, and I think Steve asked that question earlier, so I'm close to that. But this probably was one of the first times that I want the computers to kind of jump in and take the human element out of it. That poll is all about the human element of it. So I guess we didn't do enough in their eyes. Anytime you go play the number 2 team in the nation and you beat them, at their place, I think, it speaks volume about the type of program that you have. And it definitely deserves some form of national recognition. If it had happened with the big boys and Alabama or Georgia had lost, whoever beat them would have been ranked in the top 25. And I understand that. Like I said, this was one of the ones that I say, where are all those computer systems at that got all those factors in it that'll rank you and do certain things like that. Take the human element out, and I don't think I rubbed too many people wrong. I think, everybody know the type of program that we have and, understand the magnitude of that win, so I would have wanted to see that for the guys. But like I said earlier, it really doesn't take anything away from what the guys accomplished and what we still got ahead of us to do.
All right. Appreciate it, Coach.
But we thank D2.com though. We thank you guys and we appreciate it. We appreciate the recognition and, like I said, it was something good for the program, for those guys to see, and for those guys to feel, that they were respected for going down there and having that type of game that they had.
I see Sean with his hand up.
Yeah, I just got a couple more. Coach, like you mentioned, conference play starts this weekend for you guys. Is it better for you and the team to have a conference opponent this weekend off the heels of the win against Valdosta State to kind of keep them still in focus and still engaged on the bigger task at hand?
I was glad that we kind of put this new format in place. It's something that the CIAA Coaches Association voted on about 2 years ago, that we wanted to move to an 8-game schedule. With us having the largest conference in the region, with us having 12 teams, we should be more willing to play each other than kind of go out of conference trying to look and find games. So this is going to be the first year of an 8-game schedule, Sean. So, previously the first 3 were out of conference. So it was something that was that in a normal year, previously this would have still been an out of conference game coming this week. So I'm glad that we are able to have a CIAA team that we can play and start conference play a little earlier and get to play more teams within the league. So that's definitely going to help us stay even keel. Because everybody know, you can't drop any conference games. You'll be playing catch up the whole season, no matter what happened last week, or what happened the week before. So I think it helps. But this team has formulated an identity that and I think I told a lot of people this early on that they show a different focus than I've seen with any other team that I've had. So and I respect that, because those guys come to work every day. They take the coaching, and it makes them better just because of that, So I think they're excited for this coming weekend to get another opportunity to play ball and definitely against a conference opponent.
And you mentioned how you were not surprised with how they've handled the national attention off the win. What about you personally? The phone buzzing a little bit more, getting more emails, more requests off the heels. How have you handled this and getting more national attention on Virginia Union, something you had talked about wanting for this program since you came back?
I think the job has been, just to kind of make sure we show, the tireless effort in making sure that we are a nationally ranked program. And you just can't do that by just showing up and winning the game here and winning the game there. You have to, prove that you can play on the national stage. So I think we've done that, and a lot of attention comes just from that, and I'm not one of those guys that try to make it about me. And although I feel like I'm the leader of this group and I move these guys in the right direction and kind of keep everything going, it's not about me. So I want to make sure that them guys know that, and those guys know that on a daily basis. I want to keep everything moving forward, but a lot of attention has come from it. And I think, like I say, rightfully so, because we went down there and accomplished a great feat. So okay, but nothing personally. I get told a lot of the times, people like the way things are done with this program and how we kind of, show up and the guys play hard, and those type of things are some of the biggest compliments that I can get, just to, the type of ball club that we have, not necessarily about me or anything else, just the type of ball club that we have. So I appreciate those words and those type of things more than anything else. We were traveling in Georgia and we made some stops and we ate at some restaurants and we did some things at the hotel, just the level of thanks that people gave to me, just how the team moved, just how respectful the guys were, just how they acted, just how they presented themselves in public. Those are the type of things that I want to stick my chest out about, because at the end of the day, when all the games are done and all the championships are played and everything else, I got to make sure I put some good men out there, so I feel good about that one more than anything, Sean, just being able to say, you know what, this is my team. These guys are great young men. These guys are great student athletes and those type of things like that. It doesn't hurt a little bit that people call and give you the recognition about, that big win, but those are the things I like to hear a little bit more.
Steve, I see your hand.
I was going to say, it hasn't come out yet, but you are number 1 on the HBCU Game Day D2 polls. So congratulations on that.
I appreciate it. Jim showed it to me yesterday. So like I said, we definitely appreciate it. The recognition that you guys have done and what the things you guys have covered. I think you were there, when I first got the job and you guys had it and you guys have been there ever since. So, we definitely appreciate it. Right there along with some of the other people I see on the screen, Sean, Chris, and, Wayne has jumped in and he's doing some stuff on us every week. So I appreciate all you guys, just putting everything together for our program and kind of getting our program that national spotlight that I think these guys rightfully deserve.
Coach, as the game last week wore on, and it looked like you get up pretty big. There were some things that were kind of happening on the field that probably weren't very positive. Had some unsportsmanlike penalties. Had one person ejected at the game, and Livingstone historically has had some pretty physical play, and sometimes they can be a little too aggressive. So how do you address something like that with the team, especially being more of the hunted than the hunters now?
I think what we had to realize and what we were learning along the way is that I think we were more used to how CIAA games are officiated and how things are played on our side. We had to adjust to the Gulf South way of officiating. There was some things that happened along the way that I needed explanations from, and because I think our officials in our league do a heck of a job of kind of making sure we understand why and when things are going to be called and how things are going to be called. But to be in another situation like that, and you kind of learn along the fly, of how another entire, conference officiates and things that, again, might be called in your league, not called down there, or things that's called down there that might not be called in your league. It was an adjustment. I'm just glad, we were able to coach those things up after a win and talk about those things more so after a win than anything. But there was some things along the way that, I want to avoid any type of fines I'm gonna get or stay away from it because, but if you decide to call me off camera, I tell you, but anything that I just don't want to speak on as much. It just was an adjustment, in terms of just going down there and being officiated an entirely different way than we probably were used to. So, but a lot of it was teaching moments, and I think you have to do that to prepare yourself to be able to play for them playoff games. And if you want to have, a time in the postseason, that's nothing that you could talk about or nothing that you complain about. You have to adjust and be ready to go, So I think it was a learning experience for our guys more so than anything.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Are there any other questions?
I just, for the record, our friend Chris had promised that he would do a couple things if you guys won. One of them was financially. I see he did honor that. I think there was also something else about a beard.
Well, he went a little over and beyond on the money part. So I granted him a pardon. He keep his beard. I think that's his trademark, and I don't want to take that away from him. That's like taking a Superman cape off of him, and I don't want to do that. So but he did we appreciate it. Not only did he do what he said he was going to do in terms of the financial contribution, he went a little over and beyond. But Chris, you might owe us about another $45 because they adjusted those and put some more yards with Jada. So you know where to go.
Yeah, I saw that adjustment, and that adjustment was actually a pretty big one because that put Jada as a single game record holder now in all-time conference history for rushing. So that was a pretty big deal when that came out.
Yeah, there was a portion, and Jim went back and combed through everything and combed through the stats, and they missed the entire series. That they did not have reported, and that series alone gave them those yards, so and they graciously made the changes and did everything, and they were apologetic for missing that out and realized that they probably affected it a little bit, but they were gracious enough to make sure that they recapped that and put that out and sent us all the new information, and then it became a little more eye popping, with those numbers. So we were glad that they were able to do that and give Jada the type of recognition that he rightfully deserves.
All right. If there's no other questions, we thank everybody for coming by today. And we're going to, like Coach said, we're going to play Livingstone at 6:00 on Saturday night at Willie Lanier Field in Hubby Stadium. Hope to see y'all all there. And